If your child was a weather forecast, they'd be sunny one moment, full Category 5 storm the next. And trying to reason with them mid-meltdown? Yeah, good luck. I'm Brendan, founder of The Guided Path. On this channel, I share what I've learned over the last 20 years of being in schools about behaviour, school refusal, emotional regulation, and how to truly support neurodivergent and complex kids. And I'm giving it all away for free. Today, I want to show you what's really going on in these moments and why it makes total sense for your child's brain and body to be saying no thanks to school, loud noises, or being rushed out the door in the morning. This isn't bad behaviour, it's biology. And once you understand what's behind it, it opens up a whole new way to support your child. Regulation is your child's ability to manage their feelings, energy, or behaviour in the moment. It's what helps them get through transitions, disappointments, or stay calm enough to play and learn. But here's the thing, regulation doesn't come fully installed at birth. It's built slowly, through experience and connection. Most kids learn to regulate in layers. When they're newborn babies, they cry and have only physical responses. They need us to calm them by rocking, movement, cuddles. Next, they start to develop language, being able to say things like, "I need help," or "I feel angry." Finally, with maturity comes metacognition. That's the ability to notice our stress levels and make a plan to stay steady. For that last layer, it doesn't always develop smoothly, especially for kids who are anxious, neurodivergent, sensory sensitive, or have experienced trauma. You may have experienced your child having a massive meltdown at night over something really small like, "You cooked my dinner wrong," leaving you thinking, what on earth is going on? But later you find out it was nothing to do with dinner. Your child was in the red zone because someone was actually really mean to them at school that day, and they had a really rough one. Sometimes kids are stuck at a point in their development where they need help to better understand why they're feeling the way they are. One of my favourite tools is the zones of regulation. You've probably heard of it. It's used in a lot of schools and homes to give kids common language for emotions. The blue zone, it's when kids are feeling flat, tired, sad. Green zone, they're feeling calm, focused, ready to learn. Yellow zone, they're wiggly, worried, excited, frustrated. Red zone, angry, panicked, overwhelmed. These zones don't mean good or bad. They help kids recognize their states and learn what helps shift it. So, how do we help kids grow the regulation skills? We start by giving them language, and I don't just mean by talking. For some kids, especially when emotions are really big, verbal language disappears. It's not because they don't want to talk, it's because they need another way to do it. Often I'll give kids a tool, a chart, a visual, or even coloured cards that lets me or the teacher know what's going on inside without the words. It might be pointing to the red zone or holding up a yellow circle, pointing to the door, or just giving me a look. And that moment of expression, it matters. Because as soon as they can show you, "This is how I feel," whether it's with words or gestures, they've taken the first step towards metacognition. They've stepped outside of the experience just enough to notice it. And that noticing becomes the foundation for all future regulation. And once they can identify the zone, the next step is exploring what helps me when I feel this way. This is where a personalised toolkit comes in. It might include movement, music, sensory tools, calm chats, visuals, breathing, or even just a quiet place. Not every strategy is going to work every time, but even the process of exploring is part of building that regulation muscle. Now, if school refusal is part of the picture, it's not always as simple as, I don't like school. What we often see is that the child knows that they feel overwhelmed, they know they don't want to go, they know they don't feel safe, but they can't always explain why. That's where getting them to practice expressing how they're feeling and using tools like the zones of regulation become really powerful. As we help them to notice what zone they're in during certain times, like in the car before school or at night when they start worrying, we can begin to uncover the hidden stresses that trigger. Maybe it's the noise in the classroom, maybe it's social pressure, sensory overload, fear of failure, or simply not knowing what's going to happen that day. When a child starts understanding and recognizing the patterns, they build self-awareness and metacognition skills. And once we understand what's triggering the overwhelm, we can work with the child, the parents, the school to either reduce those triggers or equip the child with tools to help manage them. Here's a shift. When your child starts understanding themselves, even just a little, it changes everything. You're no longer fighting against mystery meltdowns or complete shutdowns. Instead, you're working together on noticing patterns, decoding the triggers, and building shared language for what's really going on. That's the real transformation. From confusion and helplessness to insight, connection, and a path forward. If you're ready to take the next step, I've put together a Support Me at School Starter Pack, a personalised, low-cost resource to help your child feel safer, more supported, and more successful at school. Or book a free 20-minute chat with me through the guided path. Know that you don't have to figure this out on your own. I'll see you next time.